Welcome to Soulful Conversations, exploring sound healing with modern day healers. I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you to our panel of healers for today's talk. Mary Ebacher Estridge, Shelle Enttn, Patti Mastro, Krisha Shah, Jill Spenser O'Leary, Lizz, Ciccoli, gosh, Lisa, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and Virgina Ray. Of course, I'm Lizz Naughton, your host. Before we jump into the conversation, there's a couple of things that I would absolutely love to share with you about sound energy or energy healing or anything that has to do with the sound. And the two areas that I'm going to touch on are crystal bowls and also biofield or tuning forks. Crystal bowls are typically made of quartz crystals or other gemstones, and when played with a mallet, they produce a pure resonant sound that can be felt throughout the entire body. Practitioners believe that the vibrations produced by crystal bowls can help balance the body's energy systems, like our chakras, and also promote a sense of relaxation for our body's ability to heal. Each crystal bowl is associated with a specific musical note and is believed to correspond with a specific chakra. I brought my crystal bowl. It's in the key of B, and it's actually for the crown chakra. The coolest thing about this bowl is that I discovered it when I was traveling through Arkansas, and we were in this cool community called Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'll go ahead and use this mallet right here, and I'll strike the bowl. I hope that you're able to hear the resonance and also the vibrations that the bowl produces. As it vibrates, it kind of goes wah, wah, wah. It's really kind of cool. I'm just going to let that filter through for another cycle or so. That's what a crystal bowl does. You may find different places are actually advertising sound baths and things like that. They usually incorporate the crystal bowls or other kind of singing bowls just to help bring up the vibration in your body. This right here is a tuning fork. And I certainly hope you can hear the frequency or the vibration through the microphone. These are, of course, made of metal, and each of these particular tuning forks are made for a specific pitch when they're struck. They're designed to resonate at a particular frequency. In sound healing, tuning forks are often applied to various parts of the body or around the energy field to stimulate healing and balance. Let me do this one more time. When I do that, I have a little stuck energy right here. I can feel it. The vibrations from the tuning fork are believed to have that therapeutic effect, promoting relaxation, reducing stress, and harmonizing the body's energies. You can, put it on, well, certainly the different chakras, but you can also put it on acupressure points. You can trace it on your meridians. There's all kinds of cool things that you can do with tuning forks. Some of those things will be addressed in today's workshop. So I just wanted to kind of show off some of the things that I use. And I really hope you enjoy today's workshop with these amazing modern day healers. If this was useful to you at the very end, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel, which would also be awesome, or leave a note in a comment in the areas below. So without further ado, here is today's workshop. You can just go ahead and jump in. You don't have to raise your hand. If you just want to share what kind of instrument you're using.
I'll go ahead and share. This is
Thank you.
Patti. Yes.
Hi, Patti.
Hi. And many, many years ago, I went to massage school, and we didn't learn anything about sound healing in massage. But then I became a Reiki master over a period of time. And I noticed that some people who were doing Reiki, practicing Reiki facilitation, were using different kinds of sound instruments, such as crystal bowls mainly, but also Tibetan bowls and chimes. And so I thought, that sounds like a good complement to doing Reiki or energy healing. And so little by little, I bought Tibetan bowls, and I have a big giant one that has a very deep sound, and it really resonates. And when I hold it over people, I have to be careful because it's heavy. Don't want to drop it on them, But when I hold it over people and I start playing it, the resonance is so deep that they just fall into that resonance. And they tell me usually afterwards, if not during the session, keep playing that bowl. I feel like it's going through me and bringing some healing vibrations to me. And so I use a variety of crystal bowls, of Tibetan bowls, from the deepest sounds to the highest, lightest, or the highest sounds and vibrations. And everybody really loves it. A little while back, I bought a crystal bowl that resonates to the tone of C. So that resonates to the heart chakra and the heart energy center. And so I began to use that too. And it just fills the room with so much beautiful sound that I use it, of course, on myself. And of course, at the beginning, before I felt confident or comfortable in using it with other people, I was using these sound tools for myself. And I discovered they were very healing, very healing for me. And so then I had a frame of reference for sharing with others sound healing. Yeah. So that's my story. And everyone loves it. Everyone loves it.
So did you notice, Patti, that when you were working with people that they also shifted emotionally, or was it just physically?
Yes. Oh, emotionally too. And another thing that would happen is I would get impressions about people, very intuitive impressions about people as I would be giving them energy healing and using the sound tools. And I asked them afterwards if they didn't share with me at the end of the session. I would ask them afterwards, and they would all experience some form of emotional healing or a feeling of balancing in their energy and a feeling of peace. They would feel peace. Yeah. So, and we would do a lot of sharing afterwards for the most part, unless someone was very just wanted to be private and quiet. But I don't push it, Right. But it really helped everybody to shift emotionally as well as spiritually.
And
it helps.
How long would you say that lasted as far as the energy?
Well, actually, I've had people get back in touch with me and say, I feel different already. Wow. I feel like I'm having more ease in my journey of life. And I'm finding that other people are noticing a difference as well. So I would say it lasts for a very long time with most of the people that I've done sound healing with.
Cool. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. Does anyone else want to share what kind of sound modality they use?
Can I just ask a quick question?
Of course, please do.
Patti. Patti, do you do individual sessions with people, or do you do group sessions? Or do you do
Yes,
both?
I do individual sessions with people. Okay. Occasionally, I will have a Reiki circle. I haven't had one for a while because right now I'm working from my home, and it's a little challenging to do the groups in my living room. Yeah. But I do work privately with people, yes.
Okay. And you just have them lay on a massage table kind of thing? And then
yeah.
Okay.
I have a healing table, and that's how we do the process, yes, the healing sessions.
That's great. Thank you.
Great. Cool. Welcome.
Any other questions for Patti before? Yes. Jill.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having this. Yeah, I wanted to ask Patti too. I mean, I do Tibetan and crystal bowls. I do a lot of public sound healings, and I really promote doing parties, like have your own party at your own space. And that's that's really picking up. It's a lot of work hauling around a lot of equipment. When I have the private session, and I always intend for Reiki energy to be infused in everything that I say and in the music. But when I have my private sessions, and I too work out at the home at this point, I have put bowls around and done like the brain sequence, the Tibetan bowls. Do you like to put bowls on the body, or are you just holding above the chakra?
Well, I do both. I found that some of them, when I put on the body, as long as they're not too heavy, I'll put them on different energy centers like the heart chakra, and especially on the solar plexus chakra.
Yeah.
And it really resonates into that chakra and helps bring it into balance. Anyway, that's my experience. It seems like that's what it does, and it shifts people. And I have put them around people. I get out different little tables and I put them around people, and I like that too. And they seem to like that too, because you can go from bowl to bowl, and you create. Have you found that you create your own rhythm with the bowl?
Yes. I'll do the brain sequences, which it would be throat, crown, and third eye. Okay. You're supposed to do the lessons that I learned was 8 times there, then it would go crown, third eye, throat. Sometimes that's a lot. 8 dings, and then it's 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, and I just feel like that's a lot, for someone to be laying there. So I kind of cut it down to like 3 for each, and then move to like root, crown, heart, solar plexus, and just do a couple different sequences, and then like tingsha in between any of the sequences. But my question is, there's nothing set in stone, right? We can just do whatever. And do you use solfeggio forks or tuning forks at all?
I do. I forgot to mention that, but I do use tuning forks. And the grounding tuning forks at the end really help people to feel grounded. The
like the 174?
The ones that have the round circle at the end of them. I don't know if more have that. I have a few different ones that don't, but I have that one that on each side of the ears, it seems to bring them to some place where they really feel grounded afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I sort of wing it with that too. I have weighted and unweighted. So sometimes I'll do like the whole thing around their ear and tell them what each one does. I always make sure that their eyes are covered. And then I'll end with a grounding sometimes on the bottoms of their feet. I got a lot of mine from the biofield tuning. Have you guys heard of Eileen McCusick? I got a lot of
I'm reading her book right now, and I'm looking into doing her training in January. So
I wish I could do that. It's a little expensive for me right now, but the book was helpful, and I kind of do it. I don't really advertise I do it, but I mean, combing the biofield is.
This is a nice dovetail into this, ladies and gentlemen, if there's gentlemen out there. The next question is, do you all take professional training for using the sound bowls and tools? So I'm going to set the clock for 5 minutes. So if you ladies want to continue, or if there's someone else that would like to also participate, and do you take professional training, or, and if you do, where did you start, and who do you train with, or who did you train with? And how did your business evolve as a result of that? Are there any other sound healers out there that would like to kind of share your experience training, or just simply, yes, please?
I'll share. Yeah, so hi, my name is Krisha.
Hi, Krisha.
This is really cool. So I love that everything Patti and Jill just said, I do too. So I'm a sound healer. I actually got into, I started with a yoga certification, and I went to the Prancing Peacock in Yardley, PA. Highly recommend. And she had a Reiki program, Reiki 1 for free with my yoga teacher training. Nice. So that's how I discovered Reiki. I'm now a Reiki master, so safe to say, like, crept up on me, but changed my life. And then I discovered sound healing. So sound healing was last, but I feel like I resonate with it the most just because I'm very moved by sound. So I never did an official training for the sound, but it just was like interest and play. And that just, you know, I get very deep into things that I love. So that's kind of how it came about. Mm-hmm. And so I lead Reiki sound baths for groups, and I do them personally too. And like Patti was saying, I put it right on their body. They love it. Like that has been something that anyone I introduce that to, it's just like changed their whole practice. So, and I think it does have to do with like literally feeling that vibration, like permeating your body, right? Like that's the experience everyone seems to have with it. And what else? I did also the tuning forks. Nothing but great things about that too. No. So I also use both Tibetan and crystal sound bowls. I just mix them. I only have 2 little Tibetan bowls, and that's all I have for now, but people react differently to both of them. So for some people, the Tibetan ones I've heard feel a little more intense.
Nice. So can you guys tell me what a sound bath is? Sometimes that gets advertised as, you know, well, what is a sound bath? Can the practitioners kind of talk a little bit about that? Or if you have anything to add about especially the tuning forks, and just kind of touch on that for a moment, that would be awesome also. And if you are a practitioner and you haven't shared yet, that would be awesome too. And I'll go ahead and start my 5 minutes again. So feel free just to jump in. Virginia, did you want to share?
I do a sound bath. I don't do individual sessions, but I do group sessions. And my background comes from meditation.
Oh, wonderful.
So I was working at a mindfulness center. And it was about 50% yoga and 50% meditation. And it seemed like everybody had both. Everybody had both. So I decided to take a sound class. I didn't feel that I could just jump into it. One, they cost money. So I wanted to have respect for the bowls and have an idea of what I was doing. So I used the crystal bowls. I started with 3. I think I have 8 now. I have 4 Tibetan bowls. I have zephyr chimes and a rain stick and a Native American flute. I'm holding off on the gong just because I don't want to cart it around. Oh, and I also have a tongue drum. And I'm looking for a wooden tongue drum. And then I'm going to quit, maybe. So I describe a sound bath is that it's doing a meditation bathed in sound. And it's like taking a bath from the inside out. Mm-hmm. So you just have to lay on a mat and enjoy the sounds and let the vibration bring your body into balance. And when the body is in balance, she's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Do you lead your groups through a guided meditation as well, or is it just strictly just sound and that's it?
I always do meditation at the beginning to help them get relaxed. What I find is where I'm teaching right now, it's more of a retirement community. So they don't have a lot of experience with meditation. And I don't really think they have a lot of experience with self-care. I could be wrong, but and I'm being very general here. So with the sound meditation or sound bath, I don't like to use sound healing or sound therapy because I think that gives the wrong connotation. The sound bath I had trouble with because people were afraid they were going to have to take their clothes off. So I went back to sound meditation. Now I'm back to sound bath because I feel that's really what it is. But to answer your question, the feedback is that the meditation in the beginning, it may only be 10 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on my mood that day. But once they get into the sound, they just drop into that meditative state.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the meditation gives them a little preparation. And that is my forte, is meditation. So it also guides me into the bowls.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I have had some people that they don't like a sound bath. I don't know if they have not had a good experience with one in the past. And then some people don't like the gong. They just like the crystal bowls. But they all love the Tibetan bowls, in my experience.
Mm.
Can I say something as not a sound bath practitioner? I came into Alignable as an aromatherapist, but I do other things. I was invited by an aromatherapist. And so anyway, I was teaching a lot of aromatherapy CE courses and stuff. And one of the things I had learned was a very deep technique. It's a full body technique. It's not a massage. You can't even describe it in a way. And a friend of mine who has made flutes, plays flutes, didgeridoo, bowls, he has everything. And we would do this treatment together. Like I would be doing and the aromatherapy blend was specific for the person. They would say, what did they want to experience? And so we used to call it the shamanic gateway, and that was before shaman became such a big word, because people would really, it was like an incredible combination, because the sound was, and he was doing his intuitive with it over them and not over them, and I was just there doing this very, very deep. It would take you deep on its own. But with the sound, it was something else. But I also wanted to say that if you have never experienced a Tibetan bowl and how it can heal, one of the things that I had been drawn to was a Tibetan bowl. So I purchased it in a trip to Sedona, but I really didn't know what to do with it. And then somebody gave me a larger one, etc. But what I found, and I'm saying this for people who might want to just buy a bowl and, before they take a lot of classes and just find out how powerful they can be. If you had, pain or, you're very, very tight. I just, one day I said, let me try the bowl. Let me just pick up this bowl, put it on my face and hit it, and it is just astonishing how much can be shifted. Like, you play it a little bit and then you say, all right, let's see what happens. And then it's like later you realize it's not, there's nothing going on with me anymore. It's over, and if you can reach it on your body, because then the women who are trained and have experience with it know that, you have to, only the bottom, can be touching. If you touch the sides, the sounds will stop, So it isn't always possible for you to do these things to yourself, but you can get a really clear understanding of how powerful it is if you find yourself a little bowl first and just, try it on yourself. And you'll see what these women are able to do with the full body. And so I just wanted to add that as a non-practitioner experience.
Well, it sounds like you are a practitioner. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's amazing how we intuitively know how to heal ourselves. And the thing that's so bizarre, it's like, why on earth do we doubt that? Do you know what I mean? Even the self-talk, sometimes we really know how to console ourselves, and then we doubt that it's effective. So I'm always a big cheerleader about, it's like, bravo.
I'd like to add to that, you have a voice, and you make sound, right? And there was an experience I had, which I won't go into detail because it'll take too long, but it was like a food poisoning event, and it was very hard to get myself back from it. It's funny. It does like all kinds of crazy things to you. So I was going to do an aromatherapy bath because I was already into aromatherapy. But when I got into the bath, I thought, I'm going to tone in all my chakras. I'm just going to make a noise in each of these chakras, and I'm going to keep doing it. And that was what brought me out of it. So powerful. If you can just, and I was going to mention a practitioner, a very famous sound healer, Jonathan Goldman. And you can find him very easily. And he has a 7-minute chakra thing you can do, and you can learn the sounds and the colors, and you really can shift yourself. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
That's awesome. Anyone else like to, where are the sound bowls? We are the sound bowls. Thank you, Krishna, for that. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say about that or the professional training? Yes, please go ahead. Jill.
I took my classes from Vicki Gold. It's called Life Changing Energy. After I did Reiki, and then Donna Eden I studied under her with energy medicine. And I mean, you're right. Krishna said it too, like just one led to the next. And the sound healing, I never thought I would really get full blown into it, but I'm full blown into it. And it's what has really resonated with so many people now. But my point is, life-changing energy is it's all online. But Vicki Gold's really good teacher. She has lots of good classes. And then I also went on to, did you ever hear of Udemy or Udemy? It's online. So I did a couple extra classes on Tibetan bowls because I bought some books. I mean, I really wanted to know the right way to do it. I know there isn't a completely right way. And Shelle was right. Eileen also had a class on Sing the Body Electric and about the use of certain tones, and even humming is like a whole thing. And I teach my people, to tap if they feel like their heart space is, they have some blockages in there. I also do the body emotion code. That's Dr. Bradley Nelson. So that's really helpful. I just can't stop. I have a ridiculous amount of bowls. I have a little gong like Krishna has, and I do that at the end, and I walk around at a bath and I don't gong it really hard around people's heads, but I'll wave it over their body. I always hand out eye masks. I really encourage people to go in. And I think that's the huge key, that people are like, how did you do that sound? Like, where was that coming from? And everyone just has like a cool thing. I like the meditation idea. I wish I was better at it, but I bring them in and then I bring them out with just some loving, calming words, having them rub their hands together at the end and blessing themselves, putting their hands over their eyes and then down to their heart space. And, just really ending with, confirmation that we're all eternal loving beings and we're all worthy of a joyous life. And, come to your heart center when you want to be, in peace, and, just kind words. And people keep coming back. I have groupies now, and it's just growing and growing. So you're right. Intuition, follow your heart and your passion, and intend for the right people to find you. And my practice is really growing. I'm so grateful to say, because it was pretty rough for a while, but it's getting there. And getting out in public is where I started to really shift, people talking about it.
That's cool. So does
That's
anyone
it. So there are courses that are easy and not super expensive, but I am certified.
That is excellent. Does anyone here have an online business where they do their sound healing, or is it more in person? So I'll just open that up to everyone.
I do all of mine in person. I'm a little leery of doing it online because then it becomes digital.
Oh,
And so I know that Zoom works really well, but I never know what they're receiving.
got it.
I don't know how old their computer is. I don't know what kind of and then I think to do it properly with what I have, and this is just a personal opinion, that I would need a better sound system
Yeah.
to hook into, microphones to be around the bowls. And that's a whole nother science in itself. But I think the personal experience is really important. And I don't want to detract from that by doing it online. Again, just a personal opinion.
Anyone else want to share that? Is it in person or do you do online or both?
Yeah, I could share. I've done both. I'm doing more in person lately because I had a space, but that space is now gone. So, and really I've just been doing word of mouth, and like people have been hiring me for their events. But I have done in person, and it wasn't my standard that I wanted to deliver, right? Just like Virginia and Jill said, like it doesn't sound the same, and we hear that as practitioners of this practice. But on the other end, I got rave reviews and people were just so happy. This was when I was pretty green also with it, and I didn't have anything special. I do have a Mac computer, but that's it. And I didn't have a microphone. I just played, and it was just, maybe they were new to it, but it seemed to be more than enough. And like, that was nice too. It was nice just to be able to reach so many people that I wouldn't have reached because some were far away. So right now I'm working on doing both, at least like maybe an online one once a week or something. And now that you guys mentioned mics, I'm gonna look into that and see if it makes a difference, because I'm sure it will to some extent. But
be able to provide a service. So now I'm setting up that this group can come 10 people at a time. I'm just like grateful. And as far as doing it online, we're all in that cosmic space. So just intending they'll receive what they need to, whether we think it sounds okay or not. Trusting that we're all in that, universal consciousness. Like that's how we do Reiki long distance. So just seeing your space and their space is all the same. But yeah, thank you for that question. Hope that answered it.
Yeah, I can comment there. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying thank you. Go ahead, Virginia.
I have done sound at senior centers and assisted living, and they all sit in chairs. Nobody lays down. The people that can lay down don't want to lay down because they don't want to get up. And I totally understand that because I have the same situation. Right. But being the facilitator, I keep their eyes closed till I'm up. They don't have to watch me. But in the senior center, not the senior center, but in the assisted living, what I have found is every time's the first time, because they don't really grab the concept, but it doesn't matter. They enjoy the sound and it makes them feel good.
Do you ever have anybody that, is like holds their ears and they can't stand it?
I have not had that. But I don't like real loud noises. It's irritating to me. So I'm relatively calm with my bowls.
Yeah.
So that probably makes a difference. And I don't do outside the box stuff. Like I don't do the steel drum. I don't do the flute. I just keep it very simple, the Tibetan bowls and the crystal bowls. And
do you alternate doing them? Do you do like all your crystal bowls, then Tibetan, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I start out with the Tibetan bowls, then I go to the crystal bowls, and then I come back to the Tibetan bowls. I used to finish with the rain stick, but I find some people get irritated with the rain stick, because after you're doing like the chimes and you're up here on the etheric level, and then to bring them down with the rain stick, it's too fast. And they don't like that. It's a little jarring to their system. I do at a local library twice a year. I'll do a free introduction. Yeah, and I teach at a community center. I've been there for 6 years. And I do meditation on Wednesday and sound on Fridays. And I get around 10 to 12 people in my class, which I think is fine. For, it's Fountain Hills is 25,000 people, so it's pretty small. And they seem to enjoy it.
I just wanted to ask any of you if you've ever heard the ocean drum yet.
Yes.
I was in a group where someone was doing that while a meditation was taking place. And that was the deepest I've ever been in a group. She's a priestess. There are lots of priestesses now, especially in my area. I'm in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I'm in South Carolina, Blue Ridge, and North Carolina. It's very big to be a priestess now.
Are you near Asheville?
Excuse me?
Are you near Asheville?
Well, Asheville is in North Carolina, and it's about could be a 2-hour drive depending on traffic, but it's not far. But I'm near Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
One of the 10 best places to go. Well, it's just that this whole area got very into herbs. That was the first thing. So, but we have our share of everything. And so she's a priestess, and so she's not a sound healer per se, but she is getting into it. Like you all got into it. She's starting to get more bowls and, want to do it. So
how do you become a priestess?
Well, you know what I think? I think you're born one or you're not. And what happens when you're born a priestess, you don't know because you were never trained that there was such a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
You start moving into the things that you moved into because the priestesses were the healers. I mean, I'm just going to say that I wrote a trilogy that came in. It's called Revealing the Druid Legacy, and you can find it on Amazon. And the priestess training is gorgeous in it. But I don't know that you can take a year with whoever and suddenly be a priestess, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. You're moving into it because it's if you are getting pulled into the things you're doing now, you have it in you. It's either ancestral or past life or combination. But there are people who are making money by teaching become a priestess classes. It's very.
So I have a tendency to agree with that because I know just with like my own journey, it's been very organic. But it started with curiosity, and back in the mid 1980s, I went to an open-eyed shock to pop meditation. I really thought I was going to be laying on the ground because those were the meditations that I had always been, just those were available. And this was completely different. So not only did it open my third eye, but it also, it opened my world to something completely different. So I think, and I consider myself a wise woman now. So I wouldn't say, I don't consider myself a priestess, but I am an energy healer. But just the whole process has just been so incredibly organic in the sense that in my 20s, I put the healing thing on the shelf because I'd rather be an actor. So I spent all of my time developing that piece of myself until I became old, which was my 50s. Just before I became a wise woman. So it's really kind of interesting how doesn't matter how we get to the path. The point is that once we find it, we just keep, try this, try that, try this. And some modalities work for me and some don't. So I think my greatest piece of growth personally is I no longer have an opinion on other healing modalities. I just accept if something resonates for you, I really support it and just leave it at that. But when I was younger, like in my 50s, that when I would hear certain modalities, it's like I would flip out. It's like, oh, how could you do that? So maybe it's also maturity. Do you know what I mean? On my part. So as a practitioner, I just simply, as I gain more information and more modalities that I'm trying out, and also I think when you work in sound or any kind of energy or healing work, you too get transformed. So it's not just the clients that you're working on, it's that collaboration between both of you. And sometimes it's really difficult for me not to get pulled into wherever my client is going because their healing is so deep that they are taking me in with them. So I have to pull to stay back so I can continue to facilitate however the energy wants to work. But it really is interesting how each person, oh, I just remember this is a mastermind. So this is not a mastermind. I think this is really more of a, thank you so much, ladies. I think this is really more of just an awesome, informative workshop. So I appreciate everybody's kindness and knowledge. But, but how we get there is really, and then how we develop once we are there is, and then how do we pass it on? I think those are the three elements that are most important, and hopefully more people will find out about the different modalities. But I think you're right about the archetype, and for me, I think the archetype for me is healer. So of course, I like priestess because it sounds like a title, and I like titles, and I think I was born with that also. But I'll stick with healer from now and just kind of stay humble about it. So please, ladies, continue talking. We've got about 10 more minutes. I so appreciate your wisdom and everything that you're sharing. So anything else you want to talk about is, how did you get here? Your training. What are you working on now? What are you looking forward to? What have been your biggest ahas, or maybe your biggest, oh, you've got to be kidding. What was I thinking? Because I've had quite a few of those also. The missteps along the way that I thought was really a good thing, but it turned out that just didn't resonate,
I just wanted, oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I just wanted to say that years ago I met Jonathan Goldman, and I went to one of his Tibetan sound healing. He's a master Tibetan sound healer.
Wow.
And he has a website too. It's jonathangoldman.com, I think, or org. Anyway, what I experienced was there were very high and then very deep, almost guttural sounds because it's Tibetan. And I experienced the vibrations as a Tibetan bowl. As it came through the room, I experienced it as if I would be experiencing a Tibetan bowl playing. So it was very effective for healing. Yeah. He has a class on it, but it's expensive as well. So I didn't take that. But yeah, I encourage everyone to take a look at that if you feel like it.
Cool. Thank you. Jill,
Well, I just wanted to say that the aha I had it recently was, the four elements, and you don't need a fifth one for ether because that's Aquarius. That's the unseen energy of life and all that stuff. We are also elemental, and sound healing is air. Primarily, it's an air healing. And I noticed that for the most part, I was drawn to things like aromatherapy is delivered, some things touch the body, so you put a little, earth element in it. But I just noticed that all the things that I came up with, Reiki and, were all air. I was drawn to an element. And so other practice, like the earth, like the earthy mountain women that I'm talking about, they're all drawn to the plants, the herbs themselves. And though I love plants, obviously aromatherapy, it's a vibration also, by the way. but it comes through the aroma, which is carried in the air, so anyway, you might notice that within yourself, possibly. It just came to me recently.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to ponder that. Anyone else have anything?
Oh, frequency.
Yes, I too believe that we're all energy. Yeah, and frequency.
Sometimes that's hard to describe to people that think it's woo-woo. I have had some nasty comments that it's the devil's work, and I said it's just energy. But I just to go off what Shelle was saying about the elements, and just thinking back of all the things I've done since 1998. The first was to find a healer gentleman. Started studying life after death after I ran into a friend who died, and I grabbed him and asked him what he saw. And, it's been a very gradual journey, studying crystals, studying teas, studying absolutely everything. I mean, I had an astrology reading several years ago, and the lady said, why don't you have a healing business? And I just got divorced. And I'm like, because I need insurance. I don't have anything. But after being fired around COVID, I'm like, this is it. And I think you're exactly right that we have that born into us, and it's in my DNA. I can't say that I'm not magical. I don't feel like my third eye's popped open, but I certainly feel all of the energy and know that I have spirit around me. My daughter died 13 years ago, and so I'm grateful to know that life continues. I've taken mediumship classes, and anything I can get my hands on, I spend like all day long learning. So many wonderful teachers, but going inward is clearly our best teacher. But yeah, you ladies are awesome. I'm so glad I came to this. Thanks for having this. And I'd like to know, Liz, how you conduct a practice, like what your practice is.
Well, I'm a clinical practitioner in Eden energy medicine. So that's my first go-to. I work in and around the body, but I also do something that's called Be Set Free Fast, and it works with the subtle energies of our subconscious. And it's not like EFT, so it's not actually tapping different acupressure points. It's you just set up some vocabulary so that your subconscious knows what you're talking about, and you just start clearing. And recently I started incorporating some of the global things around each chakra. For example, the first chakra deals with I don't have the right to be alive. And I don't know where that comes from, but a lot of us feels like we're unworthy, which is also third chakra. But just start clearing some of those global things has really been beneficial to my client and me, because I always get a benefit when I work with my clients like that. And then some of the other things that I do is I don't incorporate sound as much, but I'm thinking now is the time for, and I think because I'm at a lake, and then all of a sudden it's like, maybe I need to do sound. It's like, well, where is that coming from? Whereas before I didn't have, the curiosity. So I always follow the curiosity first. And then I'm sensitive, I'm intuitive, I'm also empathic. And that was a curse until someone told me that I was empathic. Up until that point, I just thought I was crazy because I'd walk into a room and I would just start crying. It's like, oh God, here we go. But it didn't belong to me. It belonged to somebody else. So learning how to navigate a really tumultuous world with like the ability to feel like everything. It's like, how do I zip up? How do I keep myself contained and allow others to have their own experience has most certainly been a part of my journey. Also, the highly sensitive people, so that I can teach. And that's what I do also, is now I teach what I know to others so that we have a broader community, but more importantly, so everybody lives a joyful life. I mean, and it's not a joyful world right now. So navigating like some of the things that I hear on, about the conflicts that are going on and the atrocities, I just have to sit and just give myself time to cry about it for both sides, because I understand on a deep level that that is not how we're supposed to be living our lives. So
And
as a
you
wife,
see energy?
I do. And I think, but I don't see it on everybody. So I think when I do see energy on someone, it's because I'm resonating with their frequency. So what I mean by that is I can be like at a football game and I only see auras on 3 people out of 1,000. So it's
Wow.
like, well, why is that? And it's like, because I think I'm resonating at the same frequency as those other 3 people.
It makes sense. Did you learn that, or was that already in you, that was just you
It
did?
it was before I did the shock to pop meditation, I had started to see like little spots before my eyes in the mornings when I took a shower. So I thought I had a brain tumor. I
Yes,
also have a really
exactly.
good meditation. Yeah, I've got a really good imagination. So it's like I've got a brain tumor. So when I did the open eye meditation, what it did for me is it blew open, and I no longer saw the spots. But what I did see was the lady that was facilitating the meditation. It's like around her body, it's like the colors started to dance. And I was sitting in the front row, and it was just like, oh my God. And I was afraid to take my eyes off of what I was experiencing because it was so extraordinary, and it was real. So I couldn't figure out what I just had to take it in because I was awestruck. And then after I saw the colors, what I began to see was it's like she disappeared. So I was just sitting in my seat, not breathing, just thinking, oh my God, where'd she go? And it's like, am I here? Because that would be even worse. And that was really my first experience with that. So, but it was her, because when she came back into view, what I experienced was her faces just started to change into all these different people. And some of the people I began to recognize, like there was this man he was like a cowboy that had a mustache, and that was my mom. And then there was like this, almost like Attila the Hun looking person. I guess it was a Mongolian, and that was me. So it's like I began to recognize like some of the faces. So it was like I was like frozen in my chair through the experience. And then and not to mention that just the energy just kind of like bowled me over. But when it was finished, then we were allowed to ask, um, like, what was that? What happened to me? Type of questions. And what she explained with the faces changing were past lives. So there were like a lot of things that I had never been exposed to that I wanted to scoff at, but I just had proof otherwise. So it's like, well, I'm just going to have to sit here and process. So I ultimately started to study with that lady and her mentor. So, and this was in San Diego. And at the time in the 80s, just right up the road was Encinitas, California. And Encinitas was like the mecca for all metaphysical activity and practitioners and healers, all the pioneers that are now kind of like mainstay healers for today. We're all kind of like goofballs and charlatans and a lot of unkind um, descriptions of what it was they were doing, but they kept saying, wait until 2000, just wait until we move into out of the Piscean age and go into the Aquarian age. And they were right, because by 2000, the things that I'd been learning all of a sudden was being called alternative healing, complementary, holistic, all the things. It's like those practices didn't change but the acceptance and the terminology started to evolve. And then, so that's how my vision got started. But even though I had that, I wasn't interested in pursuing healing because I wasn't mature enough. And come to find out, you do need maturity for this work just because of what you experience. And so all of the experiences really up until my 50s has not only been self-development on myself, kind of like preparing the way so that as I work with people from all walks of life, not only can I hold the space for them, but I don't have to place an opinion or a judgment on what it is they're experiencing, because I've already had that experience. It's kind of like, but for the grace of God go I type of thing. So I didn't have that in my 20s and 30s and 40s. So it took all that time to develop. So I would occasionally keep working on the different healing modalities, but it's not something that I was willing to practice until my mom died. And I guess I started in earnest in like 2007. I started the healer's path. And I intuitively knew if I could just put my hands on her, I could help her. But I didn't know what that meant because I didn't have the training yet. But I was right. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That was really interesting.
So I think we all have those experiences, you know, from how we start to, how we get to the other side.
I wanted to say that, oh, excuse me.
No, and just how we continue to grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that aha experience when I was 8 years old, and I was drawn up into this incredible light, and it flowed through me, and I was infused with light, and I was also embraced with that light, and there was this incredible pure love that I was embraced with. And when I came back I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden I was back in my body walking down the street. And I went home and told my mom, and she was pretty mystical Christian Catholic. And so she believed in that kind of stuff. But of course, back in those days, there wasn't anything really that you could find to do about it. And so I just, but it changed the course of my life to where I'm here today, and I'm continuing as I mature. I find that things just come to me, opportunities, and I take those opportunities when I can, because I'm growing. I'm still growing, and I'm willing to learn and grow, and it's an eternal path.
Right. Actually, I think I'll put it in with just a short description of this, because this was really a beautiful event. I'm so grateful that everybody participated and just had these amazing things to say, so that people can connect with you is ultimately. And I'll make sure that if I haven't connected with you already, that I do that.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, ladies.
Keep up the
And
good work.
gentlemen.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaste.
Oh, wholesome.